You've probably already used AI today, right? But have you ever stopped to think about how you talk to it? Well, it turns out that just saying please and thank you has a pretty fascinating hidden cost. And believe it or not, an even more surprising benefit.
Okay, so let's just start with this bombshell. Get this. OpenAI's own CEO, Sam Altman, says that us, the users, being polite, saying please and thank you, actually costs the company tens of millions of dollars every single year in extra computer processing. It's a wild idea, right? That our good manners are somehow a massive inefficiency?
But here's the kicker. Even with that supposed cost, a huge majority of us, a whopping 67% of Americans, are polite to AI anyway. It's like we just can't help it.
So this really brings us to the big question here. Is being polite to a machine just a silly, expensive habit we've carried over from the real world, or is there maybe something else going on that a simple cost analysis is completely missing?
Well, it turns out there's a lot more to this story, because this isn't really about efficiency, it's about effectiveness. So let's dive into the surprising link between how we ask for things and what we actually get back. A recent study from Waseda University in Japan decided to really put this to the test. They ran a bunch of experiments to see how different levels of politeness in prompts actually changed the AI's answers, and they did it across multiple languages too. And wow, the results were crystal clear. Being rude to the AI didn't just feel weird, it led to answers that were just worse. We're talking measurably worse. More errors, more bias, and sometimes the AI would just flat out refuse to answer. But the polite prompts? They consistently got better, more accurate, and more helpful results. Okay, so how is that even possible? It's not like the AI has feelings that can be hurt, right? Well, the answer is all about how these giant language models are built. It all comes down to something called pattern matching. Think about it this way. When you type in a rude, blunt command like, give me the answer, the AI scans its massive training data and matches that pattern to, well, low-quality stuff, like angry anonymous comments on a forum. But when you ask politely, could you please help me structure this? It matches that pattern to high-quality data, like professional writing or academic papers. You're essentially telling it which part of the internet to copy. So, this all leads to a really useful way to think about how to get the best results from AI. It's an idea people are calling the smart intern analogy. Murray Shanahan, who's a researcher at Google DeepMind, explained it perfectly. He said you should think of the AI as if it's role-playing a really smart, capable intern. And that's the key right there. If you treat that intern with respect, like a colleague, you're going to get thoughtful, high-quality work back. But if you just bark orders at it, you're going to get the bare minimum. The quality of your input has a direct impact on the quality of its output. Okay, so we've pretty much established that being polite actually works better. So let's circle back to that original argument. What about the tens of millions of dollars it supposedly costs? First, let's put that number into perspective, shall we? OpenAI was recently valued at a staggering $300 billion. That is a lot of zeros. So when you look at it that way, those tens of millions spent processing our pleasantries, it's not a major business expense. It's not even a drop in the bucket. It's basically a rounding error on a rounding error. So yeah, that whole cost argument, it just kind of falls apart. Which, of course, leads us to a much deeper question. If the cost is basically nothing, and we know being nice actually gets us better answers, what's the real reason most of us are doing it? It can't just be a clever strategy, right? And you know what? The data on this is fascinating. The majority of people, 55%, say they are polite to an AI for one simple reason. They feel it's just the right thing to do. It's not some calculated plan, it's just an ingrained value. And this, right here, brings us to what I think is the most important takeaway from this whole thing. This isn't really about training the AI at all. It's about what we're training in ourselves. Think about it like this. When a parent makes their kid say please and thank you to Alexa, they're not worried about Alexa's feelings. Come on. They're doing it to reinforce a good habit in their child. They know that what they're really doing is teaching their kid how to interact with the world. Because when we're rude to AI, we risk normalizing this kind of purely transactional way of communicating, where we see every conversation as just a way to get something, stripping it of all the normal social graces and respect that holds our human relationships together. And here's the thing. A habit like that, the way we learn to interact with our machines, it doesn't just stay in the chat window. It inevitably bleeds into how we interact with each other. So as we bring these incredibly powerful tools deeper and deeper into our lives, it leaves us with one final big question to think about.
In this new age of AI, who are we really training? The machine or ourselves?